Emergence. Ici, Radio Télé Émergence. C'est Radio Télé Émergence. Soyons professionnels réels dans les affaires assurances parce que dans les affaires assurances, pas gain, avance, libre, chance. Nous recommandons cela Jean-Claude Jonassaint, maître question dans le domaine assurance. Quelle que soit l'assurance, assurance machine, cas commercial, vie, santé et la trière, prix compétitif. Là, dans First Class Insurance and Financial Services, il y a un professionnel courtois, compétent et conséquent capitaine là. Jean-Claude Jonassaint, First Class Insurance, 6003 Babcock Street, Southeast Palm Florida, 321-727-8142, 321-727-8142. 142 First Class Insurance, c'est lui. Ou besoin d'un professionnel réel dans les affaires assurances parce que dans les affaires assurances, pas gain, avance, libre, chance. Nous recommandons cela Jean-Claude Jonassaint, maître question dans le domaine assurance. Quelle que soit l'assurance,
that never ceases to ask queries out. Great, and honorable Dr. Larry is here live in the studio today. Dr. Larry, great and dear brother.
Hey, how you doing, everybody? Glad to be back. Actually, been doing a lot of moving around over the past few weeks, and we'll probably be heading out shortly after this. But I'm glad to be here. Actually, comfortable and settle down for a little bit and be able to share this time with you all. Glad you all invited me into your space at this moment in time. Very grateful for that. How have you been doing?
Oh, you've been doing great through thick and thins. We've been hanging. So it's not about these killers.
Oh yes.
Yeah, so how you been doing? How was it?
Well, a lot of moving around, been to a lot of great places. Went out to Key West, and I saw a lot of interesting people down there with spring break.
After Puerto Rico, you went to Key West?
Yes, after Puerto Rico.
Yeah, what kind of job is this?
Key West.
I would love to have such a job.
Then left Key West, went over to Clearwater.
Clearwater?
Yes. Yeah, I've been all over the place, kind of bounced around Florida, and I'll be heading up north later on this week to Illinois. I'm from Florida, so hopefully the weather is not as cold up there, but I hear it's kind of cold. So
and Illinois is right now?
Yeah, I'm going to. I've got Florida clothes, not Illinois clothes.
At least you need to endure a little hardship.
Yeah, exactly.
In Puerto Rico, Clearwater, Key West, man. Wow,
definitely,
all of the nice
got
places.
Spoiled. Definitely got spoiled.
Yeah.
But let's roll into it. I mean, what I want to talk about today, I did while I was actually away and off to do this. I actually had some time to do a little soul searching and look over, did some personal reflection as I often do, and I stumbled upon something that I figured I would want to share with everybody else to kind of get their input on this as well. The subject we're going to talk about is dream killers. We all have them. We all have people that that say you can't do something. That always try to discourage us from doing something and try to, let's say, damage our esteem, our confidence in ourselves, our confidence in our abilities. And we allow that sometimes to impact us. And when we allow those things to impact us, it has lasting, it can very well have and we allow sometimes these things cause us to spiral and consistently have struggles and it always goes back to perhaps what this one person may have said to us, these people may have said to us, I'm no different than anybody else. I have these voices sometimes that tell me negative things as well, but we have to try to endure. But sometimes these things do get the best of us. We have to take our time to try to navigate through this and continue to move forward. Right? And so, like, what negative thoughts might you have occurred? For example, people that tell you, hey, you're never going to be able to do it. And for example, there's something. There are things that I wanted to do when I was younger, and I was just told that you're never be able to do this, right? And I want to know, like, perhaps what things might you all, the viewers, so we can all share our experiences together. Talk about perhaps, someone that may have killed your dream. Yeah. Something that you really, you really wanted to do, you really had a desire to do, and your dream was killed. Sometimes when our dreams become killed when we share them with people who don't believe in us. They don't believe in us, and so that causes us to not fully believe in ourselves. And sometimes that depends on the impact that the influence or level of influence this person may have on us. For example, a parent, someone that doesn't have a close connection with you can try to kill your dream, right? And it may, you may blow that off. But it's someone that's close to you that you value their opinion, and this person kills your dream, tells you that you're never going to be able to do something, never going to be able to accomplish anything.
Talking about dream killers, Dr. Larry, I experienced that in my life. Can you believe it's next to a close, a family? I remember when I first came into this country, I was pretty hot. My main objective was always to be an architecture, because ever since I was a child in school, I had that potential to walk. It's like one of the talents, of the many talents.
Turn the music down.
Thank you so much. Yeah, when I first came into this country, my main goal has always been to be, which has always been to be an architect. And after 6 months of being in the country, I went to college. And then I wanted to be an architect. I remember one of the days I had a project that they gave me in school, and I was just drawing. I was at home at that time, my father's house down in and then as I was drawing under a tree, this project for my class, and then a close relative of mine came by and asked me, "What are you doing?" And I said, "Well, I'm preparing this project here for my teacher." He said, "Oh yeah, what are you studying in college?" And he said, "I want to be an architect." And he said to me, "Well, you know something, you will never be an architect." Just like that. Just like that. And then, believe it or not, ever since this word has been told to me, for some reasons, I started slacking and then leaving, which I wasn't really too grounded, because I was like 19, and then guess what? I was pretty excellent in school because I came to Haiti ready, to take on this country and then to achieve. Yeah. And then when this word has been told to me, and then trust me, I started slacking, and then till I dropped out, till I dropped out of college, never really achieved that objective. But thankfully, I thank God I'm still achieved.
Yes. So how did, and I want you all to share with us, viewers and listeners. I want you to share with us, perhaps someone, what dream did you have that someone may have told you? You got a call. Oh, okay, different call. All right. What dream might you have had that someone may have killed for you? We all have these people in our lives, and it hurts even more when it's someone that we hold in a high regard, like a parent, a close relative, a close family member that we respect their opinion of us. Being told they can't hear me.
They cannot hear you.
Can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me? Are you able to hear me now as I'm talking? Yes.
Can you talk?
Is anyone able to hear me?
Hello, can you hear Dr. Larry? Hello?
No, are you all able to hear me? Okay, yes. I can hear you now. Well, do we, for example, okay, when we hear the voice of, when someone tells us it's something we can't do, then at the slightest, okay, we got a call coming in. We got to turn the ring on that.
We're going to try to see if we can get this call.
All right, who we have on the line?
Good afternoon. Good evening.
Hey, this is Dexter. You guys have us.
Can you hear us? This is getting likely. I'm going to try to see. What about here?
Who we have on the line?
This is Dexter. Can you hear me?
Yes. I'm getting reverberation.
Yeah.
There's music in the There's music in the background. We can hardly hear what you're saying, and the music is real loud.
Okay. What about now, Dexter? Is the music still loud?
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I turned the music off.
Okay. Is music off completely?
Just a second. No, it's still on. No, it's still on.
Turn the music. Okay, Dexter, it looks like we have a problem on his end right now. It looks like yeah, go ahead.
Okay. Is the music still on now? Because it should be off.
Okay, it's off right now.
No, Dexter is too close
Okay.
to his receptor.
And yeah, Dexter, it sounds like you're too close to your receptor right now. I'm getting a lot of feedback on your end.
It's coming from Dexter, not us.
Okay,
Dexter.
you should be getting no feedback now.
Okay, yeah, we got it.
Okay, very good.
All
Thank
right.
you so much.
How much did you hear?
Okay.
Do I need to start over?
Okay, because I knew the topic, I was able to, understand a little bit where you were coming from.
Yeah.
But I think it's in your best interest to start all over.
All right, I'm gonna start all over.
Okay.
All right,
All right, I'll call back.
I'm sure you will.
Thank
All
you,
right, my
Dexter.
friend. Okay.
Out.
Oh yeah. Okay. Basically, today's show is about the naysayers. It's about those that
Don't believe it.
that don't believe in us. We share our dream. We share what it is we want to do. And these individuals, they don't believe in us. And these are things that may have been told to us as a child that we don't. We share this with someone, and they don't believe in us. They tell us, "Hey, you're never going to be able to do that. You're not going to do that."
Yeah.
You're not smart enough. You're not good enough. Whatever other type of detrimental or ego busting things they may tell us, right? That will cause us to doubt ourselves, doubt our own abilities, our own confidence. And what I was getting at is that when these things happen, right, is one thing if you hear from someone who is not connected to you. And if someone is not connected to you, you can kind of blow that away because their opinions don't weigh as much, don't have as much value on you. But when it's someone that you hold in high regard, a parent, a close relative, a grandparent, something like that, so even a very close friend and confidant, or who we believe to be close friends or confidants, and they don't believe in us. And if they don't believe in us, then that causes us to sometimes not necessarily believe in ourselves.
Yeah.
So when this happens, that causes us to not necessarily want to fully, as we don't believe in ourselves, we don't fully engulf ourselves into our dreams, and sometimes that causes us to be held back. And when we get in certain, and if we do continue to try to pursue it, we always will hear that voice in our heads. For example, if we're 10, 11 years old and someone says, hey, I want to grow up and I want to be governor.
Yeah.
And you have someone says, something, you're never going to be governor. Never. You're never going to be governor because you're not smart enough. You're never going to be able to do it for whatever reason. And then as you get older and you decide you want to try to pursue that, or as you start to pursue other things, and even as into adulthood, when you try to pursue certain things, and if they don't necessarily work out, you hear that voice in the back of your mind telling you you're not going to do it. You're not going to achieve. You're not going to succeed, right? And so the point of making these things can carry all the way over into our adulthood. Now, what I would like to hear is maybe the callers call in and maybe give us some examples so that we can all share and grow together. As I was saying before, I'm no different than anybody else. I have these voices. I've had these things that I've had to overcome, and some things I've not overcome. And it's because I was told there were things I could not do. And so because I couldn't do it, and I may have held that person's opinion, and so not necessarily hold them responsible, but we're going to get to that. How we hold people responsible. We'll get to that later in the conversation. But not hold the person responsible, but I lost confidence in myself and in my abilities, and didn't even try to pursue certain things because the back of my mind, me told, well, you're never going to do it. So, and at the first sign of failure, we revert back to, maybe they're right.
But Dr. Larry, in a way, I know that words.
And feel free to call in. The number is 321-216-6279. We'd love to hear, your input to this conversation, because we all have had to endure those negative voices. We want, and many of us still do to this day, with certain ventures and certain things we want to do, because it bleeds over into other areas, perhaps in our lives, when we try to attempt things and we're told, and at the signs of failure, we're told, I knew you couldn't do it. Go right ahead.
We do know that words do have powers, and words coming from the right mind with the right spirit can have impact.
Yes.
But then again, what kind of spirit that we're talking about?
Well,
go ahead. I'm not yet done. What happened is that, can we really blame the outcome of somebody's life because somebody just said words into your life that could be very detrimental to you, or that can contribute to your success? So if we look at it in the spiritual realm, God's way of doing things, I mean, if we are to be successful, and God has already predestined us to be so, I mean, how come words from a certain mouth which is not even just right, have any sort of impact on anyone? That's the first part of the question. Second, two people can go in the same household. They could have the same treatments by their parents. Same words have been said into their lives. And then one will turn out to be good, and then the other one will succumb to the words that have been ingrained and planted in their life, rooted into their life. Why is it so?
Okay. Okay. If we're going to bring the religious aspect into this, we know that the word tells us life and death can be spoken through the tongue.
Yeah.
Life and death can be spoken into the tongue, and sometimes as it's spoken into it, we can interpret that as negative, and positivity can be spoken.
Is it your own word or somebody else's words into your life, and it could be anybody into your life, or what is it?
When we're at the developmental stages, and depending on the level in which that person influences us, it's the word they speak to us.
Okay.
It's because before we can achieve a level or
Maturity,
before we can, I don't want to say maturity, but before we can develop to a level where we can have self-affirmations, we thrive on the affirmations of those around us to help us to lay that foundation.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And if that foundation is laid on negativity, then what are we going to build on it? You know what I'm saying? Now as we talk about straying away from how God orders our steps.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, well, we know that in the word it tells us that we often stray away from the path of righteousness. We often stray away. And then, yes, we do go in certain directions.
Yeah.
Right. So, yeah, our steps are guided.
Yeah.
But we are spirits having a human experience.
Okay.
And the human experience doesn't necessarily align with all of those.
But could we, any outcome in our lives, really truthfully believed that it's just because of something somebody said into our lives, which may not even be true, which may not even come out of the right mouth, and then for it to have any effect in our future or anything like that?
Is what we allow to come into us until we don't. When we don't know any better, we allow things to come in.
Okay.
We allow things to come in. All right, you're on the line with the prestigious Jean-Claude and Dr. Larry. Who we have on here?
Good morning, God.
Good
morning,
Dexter.
guys.
Good morning to you. Good evening to us. What's going on, Dexter?
Oh, well, I'm up early so I can be on this wonderful show.
Outstanding.
And I want you to know you guys screwed up again.
Okay.
Sure. There's no more football, but March Madness is on. So you guys got to get it together when it comes to people that want to watch sports. Okay,
Okay, wait a minute.
Okay.
There you go. All right. Brick.
Okay. That being said, I like to piggyback on what Jean-Claude was saying. Jean-Claude,
Yes, sir.
I agree with you. I agree with you in part, but not necessarily in whole.
It's okay.
At the end of the day, your outlook, which it has some merit to it, but at the end of the day, responsibility is always to the individual, and that's where you're coming from. But the focus of today's topic, I think, is based on the accountability that you have to yourself, based on what a dream killer did to you, whether it was when you were a child or even as an adult. Does that play in your decision making on whether or not you ought to move forward and what your goals are? Now, I am a firm believer that a dream killer, as one of the somebody wrote in on the chat line, is definitely a naysayer. Okay. Now, can a naysayer, and this is a fundamental question, can a naysayer have an impact on the way you look at things? And particularly as someone that has set out goals. And the person that set out goals did not set their goals with a milestone. A milestone meaning a timeline in which they want to be at a certain place in their life to achieve what their goal is. So now we have to say something to ourselves. As we get older, do we sometime when we have idle time in our lives, free time, you're just sitting back thinking, and then all of a sudden,
I was going to get to that.
And all of a sudden you say to yourself, darn, D-A-R-N, not the other word. You say to yourself, you say to yourself, darn, I wish I had have done this in 1975. Meaning, someone in 1975, and that's the year 1975 for those of y'all who don't understand what I'm saying, is I wish I would have done this in 1975, but I listened to Boo Boo, I listened to Ray Ray, I listened to Grandma, I listened to Mom, I listened to Dad, I listened to the person that had no goals in their life, so they wanted to knock me down. What do you say, Jean-Claude?
Well, I know, we all have our own opinions and things. But, I mean, looking at, as I always said in this show, my really source is the Bible. And I know once God has determined your path, there is really nothing that can be thrown at you that can really annihilate that can destroy it, because it's already predetermined. And then, of course, you will go to ups and downs, but at the end of the day, you will arrive. And then even you gonna take
Hold on, Dexter.
You can
yes, go ahead.
merge it.
Hold on.
Yeah, good evening.
Hold on, Dexter. Who we got on the line?
Hello, caller.
Hello? Hello, caller? Who do we have?
Dexter, are you there, Dexter?
I'm still here. Do you want me to log off?
There was someone else that was on the line.
Let's see if we could just.
Okay. Hello? Who do we have on the line? All right.
The call is merged. It's
The
a
call,
conference call.
yeah, the
for
call
some
is
reason.
merged, but we can't hear you.
Yeah.
Hello?
We don't want to lose Dexter. Can the person call back
yeah,
again?
can you call back? Because, we're not able to merge you in
Yeah.
for some reason.
I tell you what, guys. I tell you what, guys. I'll get off the line because obviously the merge is not working,
Okay.
and then that person can call back in, and that person can call back in. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All
Thank you,
right.
Dexter.
I'm out.
Hello, who we got on the line? This is Dr. Larry and the ever so prestigious Jean-Claude. All right. Who we
Hello?
got?
Hello?
Hello.
Yes.
Yes. Hello?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, this is Tawanda.
Hey, how you doing?
Hey, Sarah's on the line too, so
Hey, Sarah. Oh, you trying to merge a merge. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, this may be what caused the problem. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, okay, go right ahead.
are you there, Sarah? Oh, no, what happened?
She always was quiet.
I don't know. Give me 1 minute, guys. 1 minute.
Okay, no problem.
All right. Well, while we're doing that, the thing I wanted to say was this: as somebody posted here in the chat. Okay, as Larry Penn posted here in the chat, he said, they have no ambitions for higher goals, so it seems as though they don't want others to excel in life. Common ground, I call it. Well, here's I believe that sometimes we allow people to what's the word I'm looking for? I had it written down. We allow people to cause us to give up on our goals simply because they gave up on theirs. right?
Yeah.
They never believed they could do it. For example, there was a there's a story of a for example, I mean they lie you give up on your goals because it's never been done. They never seen it done, or they just don't believe that you could do it, right? So, but there was a story I heard that there was a kid that was drawing a picture of God. They asked him, his dad asked him, what are you doing? He said, I'm drawing a picture of God. They're like, well, nobody knows what God looks like. He says, they will once I'm done with the picture. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, some people, they just don't, they don't buy into your vision. They don't believe in you. You know what I'm saying? And now, when even sometimes, even when you set those goals, you come to someone, like in the example that you gave, I'm not sure if you all heard it, Jean-Claude was talking about how he wanted to become an engineer, not an engineer, he wanted to become an architect. Hello?
Hello, this is Swan.
Hold on one second, please. Jean-Claude was talking about how he wanted to become an architect, and someone that you hold in high regard told you that you could not do it, right? And by this person telling you that you could not do it,
he said to me, there is no way that you will ever be.
And because of this caused you to not believe in yourself and to put a wholehearted effort into that. You pursued something else, obviously, but not that. And perhaps the thing is, sometimes when these people this could have been 20, 30 years ago, and or someone tells you something when you're 12 years old, and here you are an adult, and when something happens, you revert back to that 12-year-old child that was told that you would never amount to anything, you would never do these things. Yeah. And these things carry with us into adulthood. Sorry for cutting you off, Tawanda. Thank you for joining us. I'd like to hear what tell me about, or tell us about, that's a dream. What dream of yours might have been killed?
Well, I mean,
you have to tell me you killed it. Just
it's to dream. I sometimes when I was younger, I really believe that each of us have the ability to dream. This is Sarah. Oh boy. Wait, she's calling, but I don't know how to add her now. Okay, well.
Hit the plus button. Well, just have Sarah call us.
Oh yes, we can merge.
Have Sarah call us. We'll merge the call.
Okay, well I can't. Well, she hung up, so I don't know what to.
Sarah, if you're listening, call us. It is 321-216-6279. We'd love to hear from you.
The number is actually at the screen right there.
Okay, yeah, the number's on the screen.
So
also, I see Larry pinned down there. You can feel free to call in too. I also see Zani Bostic down here. You can call in as well. But share with us. Everybody's had a dream that was killed.
Yeah, and like I said, we all have the ability to dream. But I know I did beyond present circumstances, and really realities too. I mean, to hope. I mean, to believe and work towards what our normal feels like. Each day, no matter what. Dreams. I mean, I love my dreams, and they're mine. They're my dreams. I have them, and they are worth something because it's just because they're my dreams. And while dreaming, I can, see beautiful out of every little thing I dream. I see beautiful things coming forth. Even if it's crazy, even if it's wild, and the only thing that can crush my dreams are dream killers. The only thing. I mean, I can just believe it. I have.
Hello?
And I believe though, it can be very toxic for those people who like to say that we can't do this and we can't do that. Those are the worst. The worst people, I believe, they're very toxic. They're very toxic.
Yes.
And they're quickly discourage you. They will discourage you. like it's nothing. I mean, they will bring up what's not great of your dream, and they'll tell you many times that you'll fail. Like like you just said, John Claude said he wanted to be
Yeah, architect. Yes.
architect. And if many people keep on telling you, oh, I don't think you should do that, or you should go the other way, or maybe you should try this out. It can really, you can just be discouraged. But that's not a dream killer. And like I said, they are the worst type of people ever. Ever. I mean, all they want to do is just discourage you. And that doesn't, you know, and I said that doesn't mean you have to listen. You don't have to listen to them. You don't have to accept it. Or it's no truth to them.
But
Your dream is like to be something big, or my dream, is to go back to college to get that degree or a promotion, or telling someone something simple like you got a crush on them. Just telling people how you really feel. I believe this. Never let anybody talk you out of your dream.
so now,
Whatever it is, it doesn't.
Tawanda.
Mm,
Okay, this is adult Tawanda talking, right? But I'm talking, and you're absolutely right. But what about Tawanda of 12 years old that said, I want to grow up to be, I don't know, a supermodel. I want to grow up and I want to be an actress. I want to go be a singer. And someone says, was there ever anyone that just a dream that you had for yourself as a child, or in your developmental stages, and someone said, no, you're never going to do that, because and has there ever been experience with that? Now, yes, as adults we'll say, you know what, we're developed. We give our own self affirmations. Yeah. We give our own, we respect ourselves. We think for ourselves. We and we seek out the positives. But as in your developmental stages, somewhere along the line, John Claude, at the time he was 19 years old, and was told and here's someone that was doing well in school, doing well in his classes. He had the fire that was in him to go forth and to be a engineer. To be an architect. And someone that he held in high regard says, "You're never going to do it." If you set goals, as going back to what Dexter said, you set goals. You have benchmarks. You have points at which thresholds you need to cross over as you lay out your goals. Yeah. And there's some people you can lay these goals out. You can explain this to them, and they're like, something, I don't see it, I don't believe it, and you're never going to do it, even after you've done it. So has there been anyone in your life that has told you that?
Well, Larry, I can't think of one. As I was a child, no, never. But as a young adult, I was told that I would never I would never be worth anything to anyone. I was told those things, that I won't ever be anything but what I was doing at that particular time. But no,
So at that, let's stop there. So as you was told that, how did that? Of course, how did that make you feel?
It made me feel sad.
So now that made you feel sad. So now, from the time when that happened, how long, for example, for how long did you perhaps hear that voice as you try to go do other stuff, you heard that voice telling you know something, you're not going to do it. You're never going to amount to anything. You hear that person's voice.
Just keep resonating.
Yeah. You hear that voice in the back of your head.
Mm-hmm.
And, or if you do something and it didn't quite work out the way you wanted to, and that voice telling you, I knew you couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
Until you develop the strength, of course, to overcome that. How long was was that voice there, and about how long was that voice there?
It was there for a long time.
It's emotional.
Take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Just take your time, Tom.
What you need to know now is that you do have value. You are someone of value.
Well, you have to consider you overcame. You
Yes.
unovercoming. If you can
One-
still be here, you overcame it. Come on, girl.
Now, one thing, as you sit here, you listen.
Yeah.
What you need to understand is this. Right now, regardless where you are right now, you have a 100% success rate.
True.
Because
true.
you have made it this far. You have overcome whatever obstacles.
Yeah.
You know, you've overcome those. You have a 100% success rate
Yeah.
because you've made it.
Mm-hmm.
But as you listen, as we have this discussion right now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm having the impression that these fears are a result of bringing back those emotions all over again. Is that correct? Just take your time, take a breath. It's okay. It's okay. You are of value. You are of meaning to someone, and I'm glad that you're sharing this with us.
True.
This is what this is all about, for us to share and to cleanse
And
to
to
get these
express
things,
express ourselves.
and to get these things out.
Yeah.
Because that is how we heal.
Yeah. Express ourselves.
That's how we heal.
But Tawanda, I gotta give it to you. I mean, if today you can still be alive and well, by the grace of God, you overcame. You have to consider yourself as one who overcame, and your life should be a perfect example, a testimony of what God has done. We can understand the expression of tears and so on and so forth. But then again, we are not going to forget where Tawanda should have already died because of what has been told, because of what has been said to you. But then again, you still live through these things. Through these things. And then that's the beauty of it. And then that's where we need to be a testimony, because there are people there who are there listening to you. And then your life, I mean, listening to your testimony, and then they can see what God has done into you.
The reason we go through these things, is so that we can be a blessing to others.
Sure, amen.
Because we will encounter people along the way that are going through these same storms.
Yeah.
We encounter these storms so that we can help others to better navigate for themselves.
True. And Dr. Larry, you know one thing, to wonder if you're listening to me. You know one thing that I've always said to myself. I said, I'm not gonna cry, I'm not gonna bicker, I'm not going to murmur, because I am a guy who should have already been dead. 1998. Because of the many experiences that I was a fool back then, behaving like a fool, and I got what a fool deserved. I had absolutely no right to live. You see what I'm talking about? And then looking at 1998 till now to see what God has done into my life, I did not ask for this much. Yeah. But God has done so great of things into my life, and I'm very much grateful for what He has done. And then my haters, those that were trying to kill me, they're seeing me, evolve. They're seeing me be successful, and thank God for it.
And we're gonna get the haters. Yeah. But Tawanda, take a deep breath. Mm-hmm. Go ahead and let it out. That went on for many years, but then somewhere along the line, the switch flipped, and you realize that was not for you. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes. So you overcome. You became a victor, not a victim. And that's the whole. It's the journey. What we get in that process of go from victim to victor. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
And we these things, yeah, they can impact us. We can allow these things to. If we start getting emotional here for a bit, but we allow these voices in our heads. Sometimes these voices in our heads can be louder than our own, right? And we go to we find different ways to maybe help us deal. Some may go to church, some may go to find other avenues that are going to help us to make it through that. A lot of times, someone says in here, set your life on fire, seek those who fan your flames, not douse it. And that's absolutely true. But at a certain time during our developmental stages, we're finding people who put water on the flames rather than gather fuel to it, until we get the power, or the switch flips within us and says, hey, you know what you think of me is not more important than what I think of me. And that's a journey. That's something we have to grow to. When we go through certain things, we realize, something I've learned.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to do that again.
True.
Now, as we talk about, okay, all of our steps are ordered by God. Okay, we have that.
Mm-hmm.
And we can always fall back on that.
Mm-hmm.
But then we also have to come to realization as well, God also gives us free will. You know what I'm saying? And that is how sometimes we stray away from the path to get to where we are. You know what I'm saying? So,
And this is our responsibility.
But now, imagine as you look at where we are now, and we go back to those naysayers sometimes from when we were a kid and stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we think of perhaps what I could have been. What could I have been? If I and we can look back as Dexter was saying, oh wait, I'm going off on a tangent. I'll get back to my piece. Tawanda, continue. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead. What would you like to share? I know it went on for numerous years afterward, and you don't have to go into detail, but how did you eventually start to overcome and make it through this storm?
Hello?
Yes. How did you make it through the storm?
I think well, first of all, after so many years, of being told that you're not worth anything, and when I had the opportunity in a court, to really do what I need to do and go and move on with my life. I had the person come back and said, well, come on, we can fix this. We don't need to be here. And for a quick minute, I wanted to get up, but I didn't. So I think that started my whole way. My way of thinking, that I didn't get up and go back to the abuser. I stayed in court and I did what I needed to do. And I think that started me to get stronger.
And that's the point. You were able to see you were able to see through what this person was trying to do to you, because they had an ulterior motive. You know what I'm saying? They had something to gain. They were trying to, save themselves or whatever, and you were able to overcome that. You were able to overcome that, and you found the strength to do that. Whether it is you found the strength by relying on your faith, you find your strength by relying on the help of others, those that do believe in you, those that do believe in your dreams, those that do, cause you to believe in yourself. You were able to overcome those things.
So that person is what you would call a dream killer?
Yes. Yes. This person is by far a dream killer. It's someone that causes us to not really believe in ourselves. And it's the person that you gave a perfect example is when we go, it's that voice. Because the reason I believe that you were crying right now is because you started to hear that voice again. You started to hear these things. You started to hear these things, and it took you back to that time. Yeah, that's right. And we all go through that. We all go through that. I mean, I have those, as I said before, I'm no different than anyone else. I have these voices too. I have these voices that come to me and tell me these things. And I've had to deal with these voices. Sometimes it's harder to compress these voices than others. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it's harder to do it than other times. You know what I'm saying? We all have these voices. But, we have to try to overcome some of these things. I will get to your answer in a second. So, Sarah. How you doing, Sarah?
I'm fine. How are you?
All right. Have you been listening to the show?
I'm at the tail end of my phone that cut off, so Tawana had to call me right back.
All right.
I'm sorry.
All right. Well, what we're talking about is dream killers, right? People that don't necessarily that don't believe in us. People that you tried. I mean, you tell them this is what I want to do, or this is my dream, and this could be something that when we were a child, and someone that's influential in our lives. It could be a relative, it could be a close friend, or what we thought was a close friend. It could be a parent. It could be a teacher. Says, hey, you're never going to do that. You're never going to be able to do that. It's not in you. You're never going to do it. And we allow this, and I'm not even going to say we allow this. This captures us. We're held captive by this thought, and this voice remains in the back of our minds, and it kind of carries over into adulthood sometimes when we start to do things, and when things don't go well, we start to hear that voice again saying, I know you're not going to be able to do it. I knew you would never do it. And even after this person could have passed 20 plus years ago, but yeah, we can still hear that voice in the back of our minds.
It's the language.
And that voice still lingers around telling us that we can't do it. You understand what I'm saying? Now, share your experience. What voice or voices what dream killers have you experienced?
Wow.
Just one. And we all have them. We all have.
Oh, yeah.
People that just tell you can't do it. You'll never do it. You'll never amount to anything. You'll never do.
Well, that was the main one. I never amount to anything. That stuck with me a lot too. I think that made me.
Was it a close relative that told you that?
Oh yeah, it was my mom. Yeah,
and
my mom.
And that's rough when you hear from a parent, someone that's supposed to empower you.
Yeah, it did. I don't know. I guess that's why I have got into me. Why I feel like I always have to prove myself. Cause I hear that in the back of my mind all the time. You're not gonna be nothing,
And you still hear that.
I feel like I have to prove myself or show myself. And I always find myself in those predicaments or situations where somebody always questioning me, and I always have to show somebody, some like you have to have receipts to show somebody that you're not lying. And why I gotta lie? I'm a grown person.
Yeah.
What is it to lie about?
And even now, you still hear that voice, right?
Oh yeah,
And this happened when you were a child, right?
oh yeah.
And sometimes when you, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth, but
Uh,
when you hear that voice, does it take you back to that time when you were a child and you heard that told to you? Sometimes.
yeah, it does. Sometimes it does. And then sometimes as an adult, you can hear it by somebody that's supposed to help you or be there for you, encourage you. During the years, you can hear that during your adulthood too that
Yeah,
you're not nothing.
we hear it all the time. Well, I'm here to tell y'all you are something. I'm here to tell you are something. I'm not sure if you heard when I told Tawanda. I mean, all of us that are here, we have a 100% success rate because we are here. We have overcome a lot of the things that we had to endure. The naysayers, all that stuff. I mean, we're here. Does that mean that the voices are going to go away? It doesn't mean the voices are going to go away. But that means is we have power over the voices because we're here and we're of value.
She is too. You're sorry about that. It's okay.
It's okay.
It's okay. Just express yourself.
It's okay.
This
Just
is what
express it.
this show is all about.
That's what this show is about.
Yeah.
It's about connecting with
Yeah.
with people. It's
And
about
be
connecting with
strong,
people.
be encouraged.
Yeah. The
You're
purpose
still,
of this
you're
show.
still alive.
The purpose of this show is to encourage.
Yeah.
Everybody has value. That's why I encourage everyone
Yeah.
to call in, share your experiences with us, because it's important. You all are very valuable.
Yeah.
You all mean something.
and then
you all mean something.
You and Tawanda, you guys are women of valors.
Yes.
You made it. You made it. You deserve crowns.
Yeah.
You one of the ones.
Yeah.
You one of the ones. You just have to believe it.
Yeah.
And then use your life, this life God gave to you just to be a missionary for Him, to just encourage others.
Remember,
Yeah.
you all are doing the work.
Yeah.
You all are doing the work. You know why? Because of those voices that you both heard, you pour into your children.
True.
You pour into your children the affirmations.
Yeah. Yeah.
You pour in. You create another voice in your children's heads.
Yeah.
You create the voice that they are something.
Yeah.
They are of value. They have purpose. Your life has purpose. Your purpose is to be a blessing to
True.
others.
Amen.
You're gonna encounter other people,
Yeah.
and you probably already have encountered other people
Mhm.
younger than you that have been gone through some of the same things, and you're able to pour your experience into them and let them know they have value.
Yeah.
And you're heightening the esteem of your children and those around you by the influence that you're projecting onto them.
True. And we can understand the emotions. We can understand the crying, the expression,
Yes.
and all that. And then also, you ladies deserve to give yourself pats in the back.
Yeah.
And we got your back.
Yeah.
We are with you. And we are with you. And then trust me, I can understand these voices that are coming back to you, but you also have to understand if you can still be alive and well despite all that you've gone through. My God, yeah, you guys deserve crowns.
Again.
Because a lot of people that went through what you've gone through, they died. They're not here. Yeah, they're not here to tell you the truth. And then you have to be content. You have to be happy the fact that despite all of it, God sustains you, and you
You're
could
here.
be here testifying what He has done for you.
That's what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, as those tears are releasing of that voice,
Beautiful.
releasing of that voice from you to break that bondage.
Yeah.
That voice is happening.
And then sometimes, Dr. Larry, some tears, they're great tears.
Yeah, your tears of joy.
Like the wonderful, the honorable Elijah Cummings that died. Good troubles.
Yes.
He called trouble good troubles.
Yeah.
Good show.
Excellent book too. Yes.
Good tears.
So they're good tears.
They're great tears.
These are
Yeah.
These are tears that are causing you to transition from victim over to victim.
To victors.
Because that's what
Wow,
you are.
I like this.
Yes.
I'm gonna put this into my stash. Yeah.
All right, okay, we got a call coming in. Let me see if I can merge this one in. Let's see. Okay, Tawanda, I'm gonna have to put you on hold. All right, you're on the line. I have the other callers on hold. You're on with You're on the line with the prestigious Jonassaint and Dr. Larry. Yes, who we have?
Hey, this is Dexter again, guys.
All right, Dexter.
Hey, real quick, because obviously we have a topic that, without question, many people have something to say, whether it be calling or chat. That being said, right off the bat, I want to give shout out to Wanda and I believe the other young lady, Sarah.
Yes.
As you guys so eloquently pointed out,
all the way from the
that's right. They have already overcome what was at one time a disastrous part of their life. But what they need to understand, as you stated, they need to understand the fact that they've overcome that. There will always be a point in their life that something will trigger that disastrous part of their life, and they have to remain strong. Now, what I also want to say, I just realized something. This topic, dream killer, if it was a football team, it would be many different types of dream killers. Like a football team will have a quarterback, a running back, a defensive end, a tight end, a wide receiver. So it's obvious based on this topic, there's all types of dream killers. Now, I believe there can be a dream killer that has no intent on harming you. That is the dream. That's the dream killer where you go to that person, whether it's mother, father, sister, brother, grandfather, boo-boo, ray, whatever. You go to that person with not only your dream, but your plan on how you intend on achieving that dream. And then they will find a hole that they think is going to be an obstacle to you obtaining that. Then, just like I said, if Dream Killers was a team, then you have the emotional dream killer. And that's what we're hearing from these two beautiful young ladies, okay? We're hearing the emotional dream killer that basically tries to scar you for life. Then you have that dream killer, as one of the people wrote in there, the naysayer. Well, see, the naysayer is a different kind of dream killer. The naysayer cuts you off before you even get started. Okay? Then you got that other type of dream killer. Just because you're 5'3", you will never make the high school basketball team. So I obviously a dream killer falls in all different types of categories. And in my personal opinion, as I always say, in my personal opinion, I'm not necessarily right, but it's my opinion. I always say what you simply have to do is figure out the game. What is the game that's being played by that person that does not necessarily agree with you? Okay. If that game is negativity, that's real simple. You know the rules of the game. You take that person's thought process and just throw it out, wipe it away. What's the game? Is that person trying to destroy you emotionally and scar you for the rest of your life? Well, you know that's the game. You know you've been scarred. Now what you have to do is move forward. Move forward. And yes, from time to time, as I stated earlier, from time to time, something will come up that will trigger you based on what happened in the past. But the number one key thing is, and I do agree with this, you said something earlier. You said, Tawanda, you're talking about the adult Tawanda. Well, Tawanda was right. She was talking about the adult Tawanda. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that whatsoever. No. But how do you continuously build when you're triggered? And in my personal opinion, I believe, and I don't know Tawana personally, but I love hearing her and when she chat goes on the chat line.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
The real fundamental question when you're in a situation like Tawanda, you have to get it off your chest.
Well,
Whether
yeah.
you talk to somebody in person, whether you get on a podcast, whatever the deal may be, you have to talk to somebody. And when you talk to that person needs to be someone that does not fall in the category of what? A dream killer.
Well, see,
That's all I got.
Okay, see you later, Dexter.
All right, thank you so much, Dexter.
Well, see, the thing with a dream killer is this, right? And what makes it
It's
so-
you
Hello?
them that way, but
Hello?
that person that care
Hello?
about you. Oh yeah.
Hello?
Right. Hello.
All right, we're back. all right. What I was gonna say, and real quick, as to everyone, see, the thing is, some of these dream killers and what causes us to feel emotional about it, because these dream killers, they try to amputate our spirit, right? And they're I mean we
And they're good at it.
we lose an arm, we lose a leg, we can get a prosthetic.
Yeah.
There is no prosthetic for an amputated spirit. There's no prosthetic for that.
Mhm.
So what do we have to do? We have to, when someone tries to break our spirit, that it's a long, hard road to recovery. It's a long, hard road to recovery as we start to build and get stronger. And we do, like Tawanda, it comes a point where you're like, so I got to do what I got to do. But as Dexter was saying, go to this, we go to this person, that, Dexter's saying for someone, with goal, we go to them with the goals and things like that. But let's look at from another side too. When we are along the lines of being victorious, then that person goes from being a dream killer to being, as you were saying, they end up being a hater. They end up being a hater because you did it. They didn't believe you could do it. They're not going to tell you, they're not going to say, I'm proud of you for doing it. No. They're just going to try to find another game, as Dexter put it, another game to try to discourage you and try to come at another angle.
Yeah.
But now, you're stronger and you understand the game. And so now that you understand the game, now you know how to
respond. Yeah.
And deflect whatever that person's trying to put at you.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to cut you ladies off. I see y'all were having something pretty hot there. I don't think I heard Sarah say that much the whole time in high school. Go ahead.
Saying, what gives them the right, what gives people the right to say these things, say these negative things to people, and that they say they care. And I'm just reflecting back. I'm okay now. I was just reflecting back, so I do apologize for the crying.
Look, there is no need to apologize for crying because this is what the show is about. This is a show about, I want people to call that are going to be real. I want people that are going to call, they're going to share these experiences, they're going to be real. Because those tears that you are crying right now on the outside, somebody listening is crying out on the inside.
Yeah.
Somebody that's listening, they will revert it back to some of these times. No, they may not necessarily call about it, but trust me, you just touched the hearts of people that I just could not reach.
And then, Dr. Larry, isn't that some of these very negative things that have been thrown at us years back? Aren't these very things the things that make us who we are today? We cried about it, but now, we are happy because of the afflictions, of the pains, because that contributed to the type of person with such maturity and development, and then toughness,
when you
resilience that we become.
when you take a shower, the purpose of the shower is to wipe the dirt away from you.
Yeah, of course.
When you are crying these tears,
You've
you're
been through the
releasing that.
fires.
You've been through the fire. You're
Yeah.
crying these tears. You're
Yeah.
wiping that away.
Yeah.
Sometimes we learn, or some of us realize,
Yeah.
like somebody that you're really,
Mhm.
really in love with or something like that. When that goes, if you cry, once you cry for them, it's like
Yeah.
it's almost you don't you may still care, but you don't really care maybe as much.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you found a way to kind of get past that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a cleansing. It's kind of a cleansing. As you're crying, you are cleansing and getting that.
Amen. It's like
away.
a therapy.
Yeah,
After all.
Yeah.
And you feel good about it
It's
at the end
very,
of the day.
it's very therapeutic. It's very therapeutic.
It's a
And
therapy, ladies.
sometimes we get upset. I
I'm
don't believe
telling
this
you,
person
yeah.
made me cry about
Oh
this.
man, I'm telling
You know
you.
what I'm saying?
Man,
It-
this
it-
is
Yeah.
this is
I understand.
You-
I understand all that.
this-
I understand all of that. And crazy that we're talking about this because I was just yesterday. Just yesterday, I was with the same person who talked down to me all these years, and had a nerve to say that he's in love with me still. I was telling telling Sarah, I said, "Can you believe this?" I said, "Can you believe this joker, man?" And
Do you know why?
yeah,
Do you know
we
why
had
this
to
happened?
other, and because of in the passing of my dad, so he had to connect with our children, and he's going to be at the program on Tuesday. But he was crying. He was doing a lot of crying, and the kids was, "Why are you crying, Dad?" And he looks at me and he said, "Wanda, I love you. That's what it is. I still love you." What do you want to say about that?
Wow.
Well, here's the thing. The thing is this. You moved on.
Yeah, that's it.
You know what I'm saying? But now that brings me to the next thing. That brings me to the next set. We didn't even get no commercials in here, did we? it brings me. It's got good.
Our sponsors, they're gonna.
Yeah. When it gets good, it gets good. See, that brings me to the next thing, right? I mean, I was going to use that as an example for those dream killers that may have killed our dreams for things like aspiration we may have had as a child, like want to be an actor, want to be a dancer, want to be these things. But here, as we get to a certain point in our lives, and just to kind of hit on it at the beginning, but I didn't touch on it because I wanted to touch on it later in the segment after I kind of heard everybody's input. But as we're working and we're doing different things, and those negative voices and stuff like that. But as we're working, as we out there doing things, we're raising kids and all that stuff. We don't hear those voices as much. We still hear them, but we don't have time to take the time out to entertain those voices because we got things to do. We're busy. We're doing things, right?
Exactly.
But when all of that slows down, and we are left alone with ourselves.
Yeah.
That's when these things come along. Now, what also comes along with that, which how I tie this in with what you were just saying about that person, Tawanda, is regret.
Yeah, of course.
Regret.
Of
Because
course.
we realize,
Of course.
now of course, as I talk about dream killers, we look back and we regret maybe not doing something, not pursuing that goal, not pursuing that dream,
True.
because we allowed this person to stop us. Because if you had not allowed that person to tell you you'll never be an architect, then who knows? You could have been a very, very successful architect.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
successful at something else,
Correct.
but you could have been successful as an architect.
True.
Well, now, on the other side of that, you look at someone like the individual you were talking about. This person, they feel the regret from their actions that they had in the past, and they know that it more than likely will not be recoverable. But in addition to that, right, this individual, you tell them how you feel as far as, hey, look, bottom line, I don't love you anymore. I have moved on. some people now this person turns into a hater. Now this person turns into a hater, and rather than just accept the fact that rather than accept the fact and take responsibility that I messed this up, it's easier for me to just project the dislike onto you and make it once again try to manipulate you to think that this is your fault.
You're doing
And we and you know and these are just those dream killers. They, and as Dexter was saying, they attempt to kill your dreams in several different areas. But in addition to that, dream killers also are manipulators. You explain how this person is a manipulator. This person tried to manipulate you to go back into that situation, go back into the fire, and then you come out of it.
Dr. Larry, there's a flip side also to that. I mean, this very person may be scared right now, as long as the one that is still alive and well. Because some people, they did it purposely for you to die, not to see you again, to ever live again. But as long as you're living, it's like to them, it's like, my God, they're just annoyed.
For example, do you think that this person would have been the same way had they seen you literally devastated and not success and not achieve?
No.
No, they would not. But and because they see you not the way they wanted to see you, that causes detriment to them.
True.
So those weren't necessarily, you know, not saying that you're not, you know, you're not worthy of love. What I'm saying is this wasn't necessarily the person crying because they love you.
Yeah.
This is a person crying because they messed up. They realize they messed up, and they realize they can no longer hold you in captivity.
That too, and it's not even that. It's just so much more with him, and you know, he in his head. I don't know. You know, I was talking with a guy, you know, good friends of mine, and he know of them for my kids, and every time I see my ex, he brings up his name every single time, and I'm like, why do you do that?
Brings up whose name? What are you talking about?
My friend's name.
Okay, your friend. Okay.
My name. He always brings up, and I'm like, you know, I shouldn't have to explain anything to you, but he's a good friend of mine, a good friend. And, you know, but every time, I mean, even last night, he always bring him up, and then he would start laughing. I said, it's not funny. It's not funny that you do this. Why do you do that?
It's jealousy.
Well,
it's jealousy. Someone sees another person with something they have that they can't have, or that they perceive the other person to have that they can't have, and they know they messed up an opportunity.
Yep.
And so it's I was just don't give that person and I know you don't, but don't give that person the satisfaction of even, you know.
No, I don't. I mean, you know, just bringing it up because, you know, Sarah and I, we can both relate on those issues, and, you know, I just, you know, gives them the opportunity. Why do people have that? Why do people like to do that? Why do others like to hurt people? And especially the people that we never care about. Why do they? Just because to stay, for that person to stay with that person, are they doing it because they want to be alone? Are they doing it because they done to them?
The saying goes, Tawanda, hurt people hurt people.
Amen. True.
Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah, you can say that again.
I hurt, and I'm gonna hurt you.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I hurt because of what I've done.
Yeah.
I hurt because of what I've done to you. But I'm not gonna come to you and tell you I hurt.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna say things to make you feel hurt. Now, is that right? No. Is that a flaw in some people's humanity and character? Of course it is.
Yeah.
Of course it is. But that And he, let's see, put down here, separation from negativity is the solution to toxic relationships. Yes, but separation from negativity, that's solution to toxic relationships. It is even more difficult when it's a person that we.
Yeah.
And first of all, and I forgot to interject this. You have me and John Claude's sympathy for the passing of your father. Our hearts and thoughts go out to you and your family.
Oh, so your brother.
The ceremony is on Tuesday.
Wow.
Is that correct?
Yes, thank
The
you.
ceremony is on Tuesday. And
Our sympathy.
sympathy is with you. Sarah,
Yes.
is your mother still alive?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm pretty sure she's not listening. So let's. The reason I ask that. Have you ever confronted her? Okay. And this is a hard thing to do, and I can understand probably not. I'm just wondering if a discussion ever took place regarding that.
I mean, yeah, it did when she lived with me for a year. She had told me she was sorry for what she did and all that, and I forgave her. But then you say you're sorry, but then you go right back and do the same thing. You living in my home, but then you jumping on me, you cussing me out. I'm buying groceries to feed us, and you throwing stuff away. You beating on the wall. You slamming on the door. Like, I lived here for 4 years. I had no problems out of me until you come here. You trying to get me put out. If I get put out, where you going?
And that's the whole. I'm not laughing. I'm not laughing at the situation.
Yeah.
But and that makes it even. My hats go off to both of you. Yeah. My hats go off to you. Because that's a tricky situation to be in. I mean, it's your mom. You don't want to like put her out.
Yeah.
Then you got to endure this.
As you said earlier, Dr. Larry, hurt people. As you find out whether a mother has gone through things during her life at all.
Yes.
And then sometimes understanding what she's gone through may give ways for you to kind of like show forgiveness.
Yeah, that's a good question, John Claude. So Sarah, and in fact, Tawanda too. And anyone else that would like to call in, the phone number is 321-216-6279. My question is this: is the individuals that the individuals that we're talking about, right? Mm-hmm. If we go back a layer, did this person have someone that perhaps that killed their dreams? Did this person have someone that negatively talked to them and it was just a projection on to you? Because they weren't able to, they had negative talk to themselves and then they just project that on to you. If that makes sense what I'm saying.
I don't think so. I mean, in my situation, I really don't think so. I mean, because Aaron wasn't always.
Stop.
Always.
Don't say names. Don't say names. Don't say names.
Well,
Go ahead. We'll keep it neutral. Go ahead. The individual. Go ahead.
Yeah. That person, really never ever been that way. I mean, met and everything was good. I really think that something really happened once he came when he left his hometown to come up here with me, which he did. Everybody didn't think so, he's not going to come up, he's going to stay there, but he did. He transferred everything he needed to do up here. And everything was fine for that good year. But the second year, I just knew I was in trouble. He started, hanging out with wrong people, and that it just went from there.
Yeah.
So I met him. It was no way like that. And if it was, it wouldn't have been so with me and him. But it wasn't.
Okay.
I was truly an apple of his eye. back then. And then, so I think something had to happen something had to change him or something happened.
It could be his associations back then. You know how they project the women.
Yes.
Sometimes, who you associated yourself with,
Yeah.
and then the conversation, and then
Again,
what
it's
people
it's the bad
they deal with.
influences.
Yeah.
It's the bad influences, definitely.
Mhm.
How about you, Sarah? Did that person have a negative influence, like to them? Somebody maybe killed their dream, and they felt that they kill everybody else.
I feel like I feel like with my ex, I think yeah, because from little bits and stories I used to hear that they the way they were growing up, they were taught spoke to like that. You're not gonna be this or you this, you that. But then that's like I said, stick with you. Then you bring that to somebody else or other relationships. So yeah, I feel like
Now,
in some people, yeah, it does.
the person that lived with you, did they experience something like that in their history as well?
I mean, from what I understand, to my knowledge, no.
Okay.
The one I'm with now, no, I really don't feel like. I feel like it was just all about family because they were raised by their mom and stuff. So I feel like it was all about family. And then, I think about our conversation from last time, generational curses. So you never know; it could be a different type of curse on them that I just don't know and don't understand.
Correct.
But your mom, she was a beautiful person. I mean, she was Sarah everything until Sarah turned a certain age until they moved up here and things changed when she met her stepfather.
I did.
Yeah, so everything was. She was my best friend's number one until things changed up there.
Wow.
She was always like that. Was her?
No, not till we moved up here. I was 7. That went on to 13 years. I went through that.
Right. Yep. That is stronger.
And then there wasn't a verbal. There's something you had to fight. Something. You just to me, moving from the south to the city, it was like a shell shock. People don't realize that because
Yeah.
you used to certain way country, and then you move to the city, you see, stuff you haven't seen before.
You still got an accent.
People like, your boy, you sound country, you got an accent. I'm like, okay, y'all got an accent too. I don't,
Yeah.
But everything's changed. Everything, it gets.
Know exactly what you mean. Moving from the city and moving down to here, and then some of the places that I've had to live. Yeah, it's a lot different.
Okay, both of you ladies that have been through different experiences like this with family and partner and so on and so forth, has these experiences made you bitter by you finding yourself treating your kids with such bitterness?
No.
Or have these experiences contributed for you to be more loving towards your
Did you break this curse?
kids?
Did you break this curse?
Yeah.
Or did you
No. The scariest part for me is I see it happening to my daughter. And I'm telling my daughter, and she know I keep telling her, you are beautiful. You don't need to keep, what mommy went through growing up. You don't need this. But he's my husband. I want to try to make it work. Da. But I see the pain. She's happy for a few, but then she's hurting again. I'm like, oh no, but yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, so, I see it and I talk to her and she's like, Mom, it's not nothing like that. But it is, just patrolling and not as patrolling, but there's certain things I see in my ex, I can see in this young blood here, and but she got to know for herself. She needs to know her worth too. I can say it until I turn blue, but she tells me she's happy, and then things happen, and then like when I was married, I stopped talking to my family members because every time I told them something, they'll say, "Oh, I told you this was going to happen," and I don't want that to happen between me and my daughter. I don't want her to, come to me all the time. And I don't talk down to him either. I encourage them both, pray for them both, and I just tell her, you're strong. You know how much you can take and bear. But I don't want to scare her away. I don't want her to stop talking to me because that's what happened with me. Stop. Rather I stopped talking to them because they kept calling. They said, "Well, you're the one that keep on calling us and telling me what he's doing to you." So I don't want that to happen with my baby.
And that's exactly what we're looking. Yes. So you are breaking that in the sense of you are still giving those words of affirmation.
Sure.
You're giving them words of affirmation. Right. Yes. You're giving the love that you didn't get.
Right. And like Sarah said, now, we always get back, just always fall back to the family generations curses. Now, I did break one, and I praise that worked out. But it's always something else, and that big thing that me and her dad had. She's the oldest, so she's seen more than the other two. But my baby's seen a lot that she shouldn't have seen. She's seen a lot of days mommy was crying, and a lot of days. So she's seen a lot.
I understand.
So I just don't want her to feel that she has to settle for something that she don't. That's all.
I understand. I fully understand. Well, I appreciate both of you sharing that with us. Again, I want to tell you all, you've heard me say it before. You both are victorious. You've overcome obstacles. You overcome. Sometimes these dream killers are those that place obstacles. They place obstacles in our way. They place obstacles in our way in hopes that we can't overcome these obstacles. And if we do overcome these obstacles, they try to find another way to replace something else. They try to find another way to manipulate. They try to find another way to hold us captive, right? And we can't allow these things that happen in our past. We can't allow, if at all possible, we can't allow these things to hold us captive because our past is an environmental influence, right? It's an external influence because, and the reason I say that, as we look back at our past, when you look at where you are now, Tawanda, Sarah, any of you that listen, your past is an address that you don't live in. We sometimes our minds, if we don't, I don't really train, but if when we're left to our own thoughts, we have to recognize that and not allow our minds to take us back to an address we no longer live. That makes sense. We no longer live there. But if we allow it, our minds are going to take us back there. Yes, we have a memory of it. What we take from that is the lessons learned, so we know not to live that again. We know the signs to look for, to know to not go through that past again, to go through that again, because there's, again, the saying is the saying, right? When we know better, we do better. Sometimes people get caught in the same cycles because they just don't know better. But once we do know better, we have a tendency to do better and not become better.
Well, Well, you said if you know better, you'll do better. But what if that but that's not. I didn't. I really believe if someone took the time to me in my adolescent years about getting the correct guy or knowing the signs or knowing to not to do this and just having that person in my life to talk to me and to explain to me the difference between what's supposed to happen in a marriage and not supposed to happen, and I wasn't taught that.
That's my point.
Would you say if you know better, you do better? But I didn't.
You didn't know better at the time.
Okay.
You didn't know better. But now that you know better, you're not
Well, yeah.
you're going to do better now. You're going to do much better now because now you know better.
Is that I'm just saying? But I'm saying to that person, that young girl or the lady or person that's watching now that wasn't taught how to love correctly and what not to love and what to look for, who didn't get that mother and father love or they didn't get advice, who just ran out the first time they see somebody they want to get married. So there's a lot of people out there that's not being taught or not being. Okay.
And that is the purpose for this too, because the purpose of this is to help those.
When clients come to you to shape their financial portfolios, they're not really asking about numbers and accounts. They're seeking guidance to help goals become reality. Luckily for them, you've got Thrivent Asset Management, and together we're always looking at what's ahead. Designed with long-term opportunity in mind, our investment options can help you realize the difference an active management approach can have on your clients' futures. We'll even work with you to see how our variety of investment products can help meet your clients' needs. Thrivent Asset Management. We invest in potential. Click the banner to learn more about Thrivent Asset Management or visit thriventfunds.com/advisor. That's thriventfunds.com/advisor.
Thrivent Asset Management, a division of Thrivent, offers financial professionals a variety of investment products to help meet their clients' needs. Thrivent Distributors, LLC, member FINRA SIPC, is a subsidiary of Thrivent, the marketing name for Thrivent Financial for Lutherans.
We believe in that. We're not here to kill dreams. We're here to develop and help people to live their dreams and to do, to know that they have value.
Right. Well, so we appreciate you. You guys. Good. Amen.
You also have to remember that all things work together for the good of them that love God and those that are called according to His purpose.
That's right.
You did not die. God He has a purpose for you. So
Amen.
the very thing that made you the very door that was shut right there on your face, you were crying. You've gone through, they died, they did not survive, unfortunately, because some people they cannot take what another one can take, or some of the ones they can take.
Some people listening right now.
God has put that strength into you to be able to sustain, to be able to endure, and then thank Him, be grateful for even their afflictions, for the pains try to reflect on you, because this is what made you, that turned you into the women values that you are.
The best, you know, it's easy for us sometimes to go to as we succeed, as we become successful, as we become victorious, is just to seek vengeance. You know, it would have been easy for you when this person comes you crying, oh, I still love you. It would have been easy for you to go ahead and to cuss this person out, and everything else. And others around you that knew this history would have understood that. But here's the thing, right? The best way to get revenge is that have a good life. That is, when they see that you are victorious, in spite of the actions that they've done, you were still victorious. You still you still have it together. You were still moving forward. That person is still back there. This person is trying. This person may find themselves messed up, and they wish they hadn't messed up. They regret messing up. However, they are still living in the past. Live is better than where you were then. Even if it's by yourself, it's better than being. It's better to be by yourself and happy than to be with someone. And
Amen.
and we always, it's always better to have a soul than have a cellmate. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Somebody that doesn't mean you well. Somebody that, you know what I'm saying, is always better. So that's my. How about you, Sarah? What might you like to share?
Right. This shit right at home. I'm gonna throw me for a loop now.
What's that?
Y'all hit on some good points. To me, it just I had to learn just to love and find me before I could expect anybody else to treat me the way I wanted to be treated. I had to learn that in life. Sometimes I backslide a little bit and let feelings get involved, but I still got to learn that my feelings are what's important to me, not what nobody else says about me.
Amen.
It's all about my joy and happiness.
That's good right there.
Trust me. Two things I'm gonna reiterate what I said before. No one's feelings about you is more important than your feelings. Right? And part of your self-affirmations. I would tell you, and I'm not telling you something that I don't do myself. Look yourself in the mirror and affirm yourself. You know what I'm saying? Affirm yourself. You know that there's a song out right now. Mary J. Blige that says sometimes you gotta look in the mirror and say good morning, gorgeous. You know what I'm saying? That's a self-affirmation. You know, affirm yourself. You know, that's part of loving yourself. Look yourself in the eye in the mirror and give yourself affirmation. Look yourself in the eye.
That's deep right there.
And you give yourself affirmation. And I will tell you, trust me.
And once you do,
Go ahead.
it makes a difference.
Yeah, I will tell you.
And my sister,
And let me know how that
once you,
let me call me. Let me know how that worked out. Do that for 1 week and let us know how that worked out.
and I love it. I love me. I love me for me. I love taking pictures of me. I love it. You know, everybody talk about always taking pictures because I love me. I love me. I'm the queen. I'm the queen of taking selfies. So, you know, that's so right. I mean, I look in the mirror now and I just smile, and you know, I just love it. I love me. And once you know that, once you know how much you're worth, man, God got you, sis. God got you, sis. You are beautiful. And the thing about it, my sister is so beautiful. You're beautiful, sis, and you worth so much more. You worth so much more. Very beautiful. Very beautiful. And I got your back. We all got your back.
I appreciate it.
Good morning, Gordon.
We got you. That's right.
I need to answer this one here in the chat. Right? Let's see. Which is further back up here. Larry Penn asked this question, right? And I hope you see it here, Tawanda. Several people have mentioned you. Larry Penn as well. But he said, he asked the question, should we even tell our dreams to anyone close to us? Friends, family, etc. If so, I think we need to let our youth know this. Here's the thing, right? When we are,
I don't tell them.
well, here's the thing. When we are young, as we talk about youth, as we are younger, that's in many times that's what we tell our dreams to. When we're younger, we tell our dreams to family. We tell our friends to. We tell our dreams to our friends. We tell our friends to relatives, right? I separate family and relative. To me, they're two separate things. But we tell it to these people. But we tell it to these people because when you're a kid, what's one of the first things? What do you want to be when you grow up? You know what I'm saying? So we share these things with in hopes that they would cultivate, they would encourage, they would inspire. The last thing we want to hear is, "Oh, you're never going to do that. You're never going to be able to." Just think. Let's just think for a second. What if people had listened?
Only at Metro by T-Mobile, you can upgrade to 5G and get more. More choices with the largest selection of free 5G phones, like the Samsung Galaxy A13 5G, and more 5G coverage on the T-Mobile network. Only at Metro. Most affordable versus major prepaid brands with eligible port ID and plan plus tax. 5G not available in some areas. If congested, users greater than 35 gigabytes per month may notice reduced speeds, and Metro customers may notice reduced speeds versus T-Mobile.
Hey Larry, Dexter again.
Yes.
Hey, based on what I think the guy's name is Mr. Penn or something like that. Based on his question, again, in my opinion, I would simply say there's nothing wrong with someone telling someone what your dreams and your goals are for the present or for the future. However, at the same time, you must recognize as fast as you can whether or not they understand where you're coming from and they're going to support you. As an example, if you get the eyes being rolled, the lips being all twisted, and looking at you like you crazy, it's obvious that person is not your supporter. So they're not on your team. So once again, in response to Mr. Penn, I think there's nothing wrong with it, but recognize as fast as you can whether that person has your back, has your support, and may say something as crazy as, "Is there anything I can do to help? Can I help you with your goals? Can I look at your milestones, your timetable, what you plan on doing? Hey, I noticed when I look at this timetable, you say you want to be an astronaut by the time you're a junior in high school. Well, guess what? That is an unrealistic goal. You're not going to be an astronaut, if you're a junior in high school. So at the end of the day, hey, there's nothing wrong with sharing your dreams and your thoughts, on what you want to do, what you want to be. There's nothing wrong with that. But we always recognize whether or not you got support from that person. What do you think?
In these streets I gotta stay high, and everybody claiming real but won't man up. Can holler 10, now your homeboy f***ed up. Boy, these streets was never designed for the scared. I roll with big that had big bread. I got a brother in prison, 3 cousins in the fed. Conspiracy motherfucker when them want your head. I learned a lot in the streets since a jittybug. All the OGs on the block sold me tough love, so I could talk about the life, cause I live that. Never pocket watch, had to focus on my own stacks. Seen plenty money, and I been broke. And that rock bottom ain't no motherfucker.
That's a very valid point. I don't object to what you just said at all, especially when it comes to the youth. But we still have to remember the topic subject was dream killing. How has it affected your life? Now, obviously, all of us that have chimed in are adults, without question. I don't believe I heard a 10-year-old on this program yet. So that being said.
Double up one drop. When you didn't need five, they had street.
Exactly. And I agree with what you said. But again, subject top dream killers. Okay? Have we recognized the dream killers that have affected us till today? Do we regret? Do we regret anything that we listened to a dream killer, and we could have been that astronaut, we could have been that architect, we could have been that general in the U.S. Army? Hey, just think about it, Larry. You were in the military.
Put your money on me,
Remember, you were in the military. I was in the military at one time. I will never forget, because it was 1975, and once again, for those who don't know, that means the year 1975. I will never forget, because the Vietnam War, for the most part, was still going on. You cannot imagine how many dream killers tried to tell me why I should not go in the United States military. Those same dream killers are asking me for money now because I have achieved a military pension. I have achieved things that were part of my goal to be associated with the Department of Defense. So, once again, the subject topic is dream killers. How is it affecting you now? And that's what we all have to realize. I personally look back on a lot of things where, again, when I had that idle time, and I regret listening to someone that busted my goal of what my intent was, and I say, darn, if I wouldn't have listened to that person and have that person, just talk me out of it, I could have done that. But at the same time, I do not dwell on the decision that I made by listening to someone that busted my goals.
Okay.
Go ahead.
I agree with that. I mean, we've all. Yeah, we've all had people that bust our goals, and we have those that do come to us at the time when we're left without any thoughts or any. Very true. We do have that. We do have, a similar situation to yours. Yes, I have same situation. Because I'm retired from the military, there were those naysayers and said, those reasons to do that. And I had people that was not, when I was in the military, told me I would not achieve certain ranks, or I would not, get a commission. I mean, blatantly outright telling me that. And it just came to a point where I had a shift that kind of changed that trajectory, and I ended up, where I am now. Yeah, and that's what we're talking about, going from, do we lay down and become victims, or do we raise up and become victims?
And one more thing. We have to also realize the human aspect of dream killers. They're just like us, really. It's just that they're dream killers. And the bad thing about a dream killer wants to act like their profession is in psychology, and the only thing they're really doing is talking psychobabble bull crap, okay? And we have to recognize that. So the fact that they are human beings, the fact that they could have problems in their lives, and they want to extend their problems onto you because they were not able to achieve what they want to achieve, they're going to automatically try to put you on a team that has low self-esteem.
Yeah, they try to kill your dream because their dream was killed.
Their dreams were crushed. Okay, so at the end of the day, to all the listeners, you know, this has been a great topic. It's been one that I think, you know, should be broken down into chapters, because there's been so much positive emotion, whether it was the people that called in, whether it was the people that text. It's been positive. So my recommendation to you and Jean-Claude is to sit down, get together, and break this down into chapters, because there's obviously, that's right, there's obviously a lot of people out there, whether they called in or not, whether they text or not. The beautiful things that Tawanda and Sarah said, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. It triggered something in those people's lives, to whereas they're trying to say to themselves, either, why did I listen to that? And do I regret listening to that? Mm-hmm. And where would I be now if I didn't listen to that?
And that
again,
is going to be next week's topic. Regrets.
Yes.
I already had that.
Yes.
For next week's topic, kind of gave it away.
Bingo. hey, look here, man. You know how I am, and you know. And please, to the people that are under the sounds of my voice right now, I do not pretend to know everything. As a matter of fact, I am just as human as anybody else. My comments are solely based on how I feel that I have dealt with every single topic, every single subject that this wonderful show has put up to all of us that are listening to Dr. Thomas and Jean-Claude. And that being said, I apologize for hogging the air. So it's time for me to go. All right.
All right, man.
All right. All right. Love you. Hey, love you guys, man.
Yeah, love you too, brother.
Thank you so much.
All right.
Yeah.
Out.
All right. Hello.
Hello.
All right. Sorry about that. Yo, Dexter starts going. Hey. Is Sarah still there too?
Yeah, I'm still here.
All right, ladies. So, well, hey, man, it's not okay. All right, it's 9 o'clock. I think this was a good show. We tapped into some very good areas.
I love it.
What we're going to do is we're gonna do somewhat of an extension of this next week, but we're not gonna dwell so much on like the dream killers, but we're gonna touch on it a little bit. We're gonna touch on the after effects of that, and we're also gonna touch on, as we spoke about, regret. And when I talk about we're gonna speak about regret, I mean somewhere down the line, back in our history, where someone may have killed this dream, and we sit back and wonder, you know what? When we look back in our lives, right? And ladies, feel free to jump in, correct me if I'm wrong. But sometimes when we can sit back and look at our lives at certain points, and we can see that if we had done this rather than do this, the whole direction of our life might have gone a different direction. Do y'all have that reflection?
Yeah.
Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Do you ever think like that, ladies?
Yeah.
Hello?
No, they're there.
Oh, I can't hear you. What's that?
I can hear another conversation going on with you and
Me and Jean-Claude aren't talking.
we're talking now. I mean, I
You hear me right now? Yeah.
Yeah, you're talking.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah. I was wondering. Do you all feel that same way? Do you all have those situations?
Somebody just called. Okay. Somebody's called in.
Somebody's talking.
No, he just asked you a question. What was the question, Larry?
Oh. Well, you heard the question, right, Sarah?
This a bit. My phone's breaking up.
Okay. What I wanted to know is, okay, we can all look at times in our lives where if we look back in the history of our lives, we can see certain points where if we had gone this way rather than go this way, the whole direction of our lives might have gone a different way. Do y'all think that? Ever have that?
Yeah. I was just telling her while we were on break, and I said, "Wow, my life would have went totally different if I didn't have any children. I would immediately got out of the relationship, got in that divorce within 2 years, but I didn't do it because I was raised without a mom, which she passed, and my pops wasn't always steady in my life. So
Okay.
I want them, my babies, to have a mom and a dad.
Okay.
But, definitely yes. If it was just me in the picture, yeah, that didn't scare me that much. It scared me that much that I would have been gone way before.
So, for me, yeah, I don't know about my sis, but I wouldn't have.
Oh, I heard that giggle. She got a story there.
Don't you have giggle? Stop doing that.
She got
that's not a bad thing. It's just you be hitting on key points.
Yeah. And so, and that is what part of what our topic is going to be next week. Regrets, right? We're going to talk a little bit about dream killers. Maybe like back in our history, we look back and maybe that person that may have killed our dream as to what we aspired to be. And maybe what if we had pursued that? What if that person had not done that? Might our lives have been totally different?
Oh wow!
And what, if we had been told, something, you want to be an architect. So you told me at 12 years old you want to be an architect.
Yeah.
So now I'm going to take you to different camps. Yeah. I'm going to get you into different programs that may be offered, summer camps and things like that, to help to build that in you, right? I say, hey, I want to be an entertainer. I wanted to do acting or something like that. Okay, well, I'm going to get you into, Harvard had like a performing arts thing. So I'm going to get you into these things and maybe help you to do this talent. This is what you say. I'm going to support this, right? What if these things that happened, might life have been different? And even not even something on another scale, just something else. If you wanted to just do something different, you aspired to do something, and someone deterred you or killed your dream of doing that, might your life have been different?
Can you believe that, Larry, as you talking about this, I still vividly can see me back then when I had dreams of being an architect and have a good family. I still have this picture in my mind where I see myself standing in that house that I would design for me and my family. And I see myself and the lady of my life and 3 kids standing right. I could still see this.
Halle Berry.
I could still see this into my mind right now, vividly. But guess what?
Didn't I say the same thing? My dream.
Yeah.
didn't go that way, right?
It did not go that way.
And you know,
And then I have to take full responsibility of the fact that I did not really live for that. And then I'm okay with it.
yeah. That goes from being
Yeah.
a victim to a victor.
Yeah.
Because it's easy to
I'm
say,
okay with
oh,
it.
I could have been this, but
Yeah.
they didn't. But,
Mhm.
you know, to an extent.
Yeah.
But now,
Mhm.
well, you know what? We're gonna wrap it up right here.
This is too good.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up right here. But
This is
next
too
week,
good,
this
yeah.
is just
Mhm.
for those of you that are listening.
Yeah.
Watch. This is just a glimpse of what we're going to get
To
into
talk about.
next week.
Yeah.
May I ask who the caller was before us?
What's that?
May I ask who was the caller on before us?
Oh, that was Dexter that was on.
Oh, that was.
Yeah, that was Dexter.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but ladies, I want to say thanks a lot for calling. Appreciate your support.
That was great.
Yes. Let me reiterate. Reiterate. I got love for both of you all. John Claude, I'm sure has love
Oh
for
my
both of you all
God.
as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
You know, you all bring
Sure do.
a lot of love, a lot of support, a lot of everything to the show.
Mhm.
And I think it says here it's important that we recognize a dream and an aspiration, and we're going to kind of break those things
'Cause they're
down.
different.
We're going to unpackage some of that next week.
Amen.
But I want to say thank you all very much. We're lucky to have you all. The world is lucky to have you. I mean, to the world, you're just one person, but to several people, you're the world. And just realize that. Realize that.
All right. Well, you guys have a blessed week and keep your head up.
And Sarah, you
Yes.
Now you got some homework now. What was your homework?
Where's my homework?
What was your homework?
Oh,
You had homework.
Okay, I got it.
You got what it was, right?
Jonesy got me. She'll let me know what it is.
She don't remember. She's listening too. Your homework.
We got you though. You know we got you. I won't let you down. I got you.
Your homework is look in the mirror every day.
Amen. And say,
Yeah.
Every day.
I'm beautiful.
Yep. Good morning, gorgeous, and give yourself words of affirmation. Do that. Just give me 7 days. Do that.
Okay.
Do that from now until
Amen.
until next Sunday.
Okay.
Just do that, and don't just say it. I want you to
Yeah.
say it. I want you to walk in it.
Mhm.
I want you to walk in it.
True.
Walk in it.
Okay.
And see how. I'm not even. Just tell me how that worked out.
Mhm.
Tell me how
Okay.
you were received. And accept no less. Accept no less. When you say those words to yourself, you expect that from yourself and expect no less from others.
Say it out loud
Walk
and
in
believe
that.
it in it. I'm fearfully and marvelously
Yeah.
made.
Yep. Walk in that. Just say that to yourself in the mirror, and you can say it all by yourself. Say it in the mirror as you start your day, and then walk in it, and let me see, and just share with us next week.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, I'll talk to y'all later. Thank you very much. We've gone over our time, but I mean, it was a great show.
Great one.
I think this was one of our best ones. This is one of our best ones. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and cut you ladies off.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Bye.
so much. Really appreciate
Bye-bye.
it, Nicole. Yeah. Oh, I don't want to go. I just don't want to. I just don't want to go.
We just sit in it for a while and we've got a lot to marinate. We got a lot to marinate right now. This is awesome. I'm in loss of words, but I want to tell you all, those of you that called in, those of you that had a lot of input in the chat, want to say, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Appreciate you all hanging in there with us from the Philippines all the way here to the States. I appreciate it. And those in the other areas, even some of you that are in Haiti, I'm sure you watched and listened as well. I want to say thank you very much. You all could have
and thank you especially for these wonderful ladies that did not shy away of expressing their emotion openly.
That took a tremendous.
This was, my God.
That took a tremendous amount of courage.
Yeah.
A lot of courage.
And then some people think tears are just for the weak, the fainted of heart.
Yeah.
The weak.
Again, that shows strength. That shows strength. That shows courage to bear yourself and expose yourself and to open up that door to let us in and share that with us, and we appreciate that. As I like to say, you all could have been anywhere at this moment in time for this past hour and a half, 2 hours. However, you chose to spend that time with us, and for that, myself and Jean-Claude are very grateful. As I like to close out every show, the journey of life is a lesson. The classroom is always open, so let's live, let's learn together. This is Dr. Larry Thomas. Thank you very much, and we will see you next week.
Amen. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
Assurance machine, caille commerciale, vie, santé et la trière, prix compétitif, là, dans First Class Insurance and Financial Services, il y a un professionnel courtois, compétent et conséquent capitaine là, Jean-Claude Jonassaint, First Class Insurance, 6003 Babcock Street, Southeast Palm Florida, 321-727-8142, 321-727-8142, First Class Insurance, c'est lui, Ou besoin d'un professionnel réel dans les affaires d'assurance, parce que dans les affaires d'assurance, pas gain avance, libre chance. Nous recommandons, voyons cela, Jean-Claude Jonassaint, maître question dans le domaine d'assurance. Quelle que soit l'assurance, assurance machine, caille commerciale, vie, santé et la trière, prix compétitif, là, dans First Class Insurance and Financial Services, il y a un professionnel courtois, compétent et conséquent capitaine là, Jean-Claude Jonassaint, First Class Insurance, 6003 Babcock Street, Southeast Palm Florida, 321-727-8142, 321-727-8142, First Class Insurance, c'est lui, Ou besoin d'un professionnel réel dans les affaires d'assurance, parce que dans les affaires d'assurance, pas gain avance, libre chance. Nous recommandons, voyons cela, Jean-Claude Jonassaint, maître question dans le domaine d'assurance. Quelle que soit l'assurance, assurance machine, caille commerciale, vie, santé et la trière, prix compétitif, là, dans First Class Insurance and Financial Services, il y a un professionnel courtois, compétent et conséquent capitaine là.